making headlines. The Environment Minister announces that the Endari project, launched to assess the wealth of natural resources in the Maldives, will be rolled out across the country. The World Bank's recent report reveals that the wealthiest in the Maldives benefit disproportionately from the country's universal subsidy system. And UNDP Regional Director for South Asia and the Pacific underscores the importance of long-term policies in the Maldives to achieve the SDGs.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News. I'm your host Malak Ahmad Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, Tariq Ibrahim, announces that the Endari project, launched to assess the wealth of natural resources in the Maldives, will be rolled out across the country. He made the remarks during the handover ceremony for the Endari Small Grants 2024 in Fonadula Atoll. The event marked the allocation of $97,724 to 3 local associations. Additionally, $390,896 was donated to the Island Council for the effective management of protected areas within the atoll. Emphasizing the significance of evaluating natural resources, Minister Tariq noted that while many foreign nations recognize the value of such resources, critical assets in the country like reefs and marine ecosystems remain largely unassessed. He highlighted that the Endari project aims to create natural capital accounts for the atoll and will be implemented nationwide. As part of the Endari project, the University of New South Wales, UNSW, was contacted to conduct assessments of the country's natural resources. A team from UNSW is scheduled to visit Maldives in November to share the findings of the studies and provide training to relevant institutions. The World Bank's recent report, Maldives Development Updates Seeking Stability in Turbulent Times, reveals that the wealthiest in the Maldives benefit disproportionately from the country's universal subsidy system. The report discusses the effects of government spending cuts and subsidy adjustments, noting that while subsidies in many countries are typically directed toward low-income households, the Maldives' current approach fails to adequately support its most vulnerable populations.
According to the World Bank, government revenues are allocated to various subsidies aimed at providing essential services including education, the Asanda program for all citizens, and fuel and food subsidies through State Trading Organization (STO). However, these subsidies are not specifically designed to target those in greatest need. The report highlights that about 43% of subsidies go to the wealthiest segments of the society, benefiting the richest 40%. This represents 4.1% of the national budget. Notably, the top 10% of earners receive 13% of these subsidies, which accounts for only 2% of their income, while the bottom 10% receive a mere 8%. The World Bank emphasizes the government's intention to shift from a blanket subsidy approach to one that specifically aids the most vulnerable groups. Without such a reform, the poverty rate in the Maldives could rise from 2.5% to 4.6% if subsidies were eliminated altogether, with single parents and families with more than 3 children being particularly impacted. To mitigate these effects of subsidy cuts, the World Bank estimates that a budget of $78.2 million will be required. It recommends that subsidies be allocated to 60% of low-income households, suggesting an increase in support for the lowest income earners to 20%. Furthermore, the report stresses the need for the government to implement a comprehensive system to accurately assess household income and monitor living conditions effectively.
Assistant Secretary of the United Nations and UNDP Regional Director for South Asia and the Pacific underscores the importance of long-term policies in the Maldives to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Her comments came at the conclusion of her visit to Formula City.
The regional director commended the Maldives for its commitment to long-term development strategies emphasizing that sustainable progress cannot be realized in a short time frame. She highlighted the necessity of establishing a robust policy framework to guide these efforts, adding that the UNDP prioritizes the development of a comprehensive 20-year national plan. She stressed that the effective implementation of this plan is vital, as investment across various sectors is essential for reaching sustainable development objectives. Key focus areas include strengthening the technical sector, empowering women, and investing in renewable energy. The regional director pointed out that enhancing digital infrastructure can have a positive impact on numerous SDGs. Additionally, she emphasized that empowering women and expanding educational opportunities are critical investments for sustainable development. She also addressed the importance of renewable energy, explaining that the Maldives currently faces high costs associated with oil. She further noted that diversifying investments into renewable energy could significantly lower these expenses. The responsibility for the National Development Plan rests with President Dr. Mohammad Muiz, who has committed to prioritizing this initiative. In a recent social media post announcing the plan's launch, the President described it as a national effort aimed at securing a brighter future for the country. He emphasized that the plan is a crucial step towards the development of all citizens and the well-being of future generations.
Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development reveals plans to complete the development of the junior colleges in Velidu, Noon Atoll and Diddu Halif Atoll, and commence the provision of education from the colleges starting next year. Both developmental projects were contracted to Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC by the government.
According to the Higher Education Ministry, progress on these developmental initiatives are advancing rapidly. As such, the ministry stated that MTCC has completed 30% of the development of the junior college in Velidu and 90% of the junior college being developed in Diddu. The ministry revealed that the junior college in Velidu will feature smart classrooms, an ICT laboratory, an area designated for administrative purposes and a library. Additionally, plans have been made to develop a multipurpose workshop in the institute to conduct vocational programs in various fields. Similarly, Diddu Junior College will feature laboratories and workshops designated to conduct specialized programs, an ICT laboratory, a multipurpose workshop, and classrooms. It will also consist of an area specified for administrative purposes, a staff room, an area to provide services to students, an auditorium, meeting rooms, study rooms, and a library as well. The junior college being developed in Diddu will specialize in courses related to the food processing field. The ministry stated that the college will also offer other courses related to vocational fields. Enhancing access to higher education and vocational training on the islands is a key priority of President Dr. Mohammad Muiz. The establishment of these colleges demonstrates the government's commitment to advancing and promoting higher education.
Mayor of Malé City Council Adam Azim reveals that there are no difficulties in managing or running the council, affirming that the council receives the government's full support. The statement was made by the mayor during the councillors' conference held in Kurudufushi City by the Maldivian Democratic Party MDP. Speaking at the conference, Mayor Azim stated that council operations of Malé City Council were proceeding smoothly. The mayor disclosed that 15 consultants were appointed to the council for assistance, all former MDP members except for one. He affirmed that the council receives the full support of the government, particularly the initiatives that directly affect the livelihoods of residents. Following Mayor Azim's remarks, conference chair Fayaz Ismail, who also serves as the chairperson of MDP, requested edits to the mayor's speech before sharing it on social media. Fayaz specifically asked for the removal of the mention regarding the MDP members appointed as consultants. However, he later realized that the conference was being broadcast live. Moreover, Mayor Azim previously stated that the council benefits from the government's unwavering support, highlighting collaborative efforts to implement various government projects. While the government has been providing its unwavering support to councils, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz is the first president who attended a ceremony of Malé City Council in person. The Anti-Corruption Commission ACC highlights the challenges faced by doctors in government hospitals when providing services, attributing these issues to the absence of regulations for their work in private hospitals and clinics. This statement emerged from the ACC's corruption risk assessment of the health welfare system in the Maldives.
The assessment aimed to evaluate the system's vulnerability to corruption and propose measures to mitigate these risks. It identified several systematic issues, noting that essential regulations needed for effective health service delivery have yet to be established in the country. The ACC pointed out that there are currently no established procedures regarding diagnosis, pricing, treatment plans, or clinical guidelines in private facilities. Furthermore, there are no specific rules governing doctors employed in these private institutions, leading to conflicts of interest, inconsistent patient interaction times, and inadequate monitoring of medical services. The report also indicated that these gaps facilitate the potential for illegal benefits. Additionally, the ACC noted the absence of robust regulations to uphold integrity and combat corruption in the pharmaceutical sector. It highlighted the lack of a systematic approach for determining drug prices and for centrally monitoring the stock of imported medicine. Moreover, it was revealed that medicine prices are not consistently aligned with their strength or volume, contributing to corruption and service delays. In response, the ACC has recommended the development of comprehensive regulations aimed at preventing corruption within the health system while ensuring integrity in service delivery. The report outlines 14 recommendations to tackle corruption and promote an equitable welfare system, along with 6 additional suggestions to enhance the overall health infrastructure.
Dharmawantha Hospital unveils its state-of-the-art operating theatre, marking a significant enhancement to the Maldives' healthcare system.
Dharmawantha Hospital has become a cornerstone of the country's health infrastructure, featuring a range of advanced services across its multiple floors, each designated for specific procedures. Notably, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the DH11th floor was transformed into a dedicated treatment center for critically ill patients. It is now equipped for complex surgeries involving the heart, brain and spinal cord, utilizing cutting-edge technology that had remained unused for 5 years due to various challenges. As of Friday, surgical operations have commenced in the world-class theatre on the 11th floor of the hospital. This hybrid operating theatre and catheter lab will facilitate surgeries on the brain, stomach and heart, as well as various procedures addressing bleeding in different body areas. The hospital is actively seeking additional resources to broaden the range of services it offers. The DH11 also features a dedicated ICU capable of accommodating up to 10 patients, ensuring that those who have undergone major surgeries receive priority monitoring. A specialized team of trained nurses is in this place with ongoing training for additional staff. The Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital IGMH already boasts a robust cardiology team skilled in open heart surgeries. In the field of neurosurgery, emergency procedures have been conducted for the past 2 years, and the recent addition of esteemed neurosurgeon Dr. Ali Niaf in July has strengthened the neuro department. IGMH's primary objective is to provide trustworthy medical services. The hospital is also exploring opportunities for patients to receive treatment abroad, though it acknowledges that building public trust in these previously neglected areas is essential for progress.
China announces that it will significantly increase government debt issuance to offer subsidies to people with low incomes, support the property market and replenish state banks' capital as it pushes to revive sputtering economic growth.
Without providing details on the size of the fiscal stimulus being prepared, Finance Minister Lan Fon told a news conference there will be more counter-cyclical measures this year. Flanked by Vice Ministers of Finance, Lan said that the Ministry of Finance, together with relevant departments, has resolutely implemented this initiative, taking a series of measures to issue local government bonds to replace existing government debts. Lan said Beijing will support local governments to resolve their debt issues, adding that they still have a combined 2.3 trillion yuan, $325.5 billion to spend in the last 3 months of the year, including debt quotas and unused funds. Lan added that the local governments will be allowed to repurchase unused land from property developers. Low wages, high youth unemployment, and a feeble social safety net means China's household spending is less than 40% of annual economic output, some 20 percentage points below the global average. Investment by comparison is 20 points above. The world's second largest economy faces strong deflationary pressures due to a sharp property market downturn and frail consumer confidence, which have exposed its over-reliance on exports in an increasingly tense global trade environment. A wide range of economic data in recent months has missed forecasts, raising concerns among economists and investors that the government's roughly 5% growth target this year was at risk and that a longer-term structural slowdown could be in play.
Israel's military says that 2 UN peacekeepers were wounded by the Israeli strike near the watchtower in South Lebanon, while blasts shook the peacekeepers' main base in the area for the second time in 48 hours as Israeli forces battled Hezbollah.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and Western countries condemned the attacks. The UNIFIL force called it a serious development and said the security of UN personnel and property must be guaranteed. France summoned Israel's ambassador and issued a statement with Italy and Spain calling such attacks unjustifiable. US President Joe Biden said he was asking Israel not to hit the UNIFIL forces. In Gaza, medics told Reuters at least 13 Palestinians were killed late on Friday by Israeli strikes on a home in Jabalia, where Doctors Without Borders says thousands of people are trapped a week after Israel launched an offensive there to stop Hamas militants from regrouping. The Israeli military said air raid sirens sounded in central Israel and 2 drones were detected from Lebanon late on Friday. It said it successfully intercepted 1 drone, but 1 building sustained some damage. The Israeli military said 2 peacekeepers had been hurt by Israeli fire as it was engaging Hezbollah and expressed deep concern. It said they had been warned hours earlier to take shelter. A Hezbollah statement late on Friday said that the Israeli military had failed in its attempts to advance into southern Lebanon and was facing significant resistance that had resulted in heavy Israeli losses. It said the Israeli army was using settler homes in several northern Israeli towns as gathering points and that Hezbollah considered them targets. The conflict between Israel and Hezbollah militants erupted 1 year ago when the Iranian-backed group began launching rockets at northern Israel in support of Hamas at the start of the Gaza war. It has intensified in recent weeks with Israel bombing southern Lebanon, Beirut's southern suburbs, and the Bekaa Valley, killing many of Hezbollah's top leaders and sending ground troops across the border. Hezbollah, for its part, had fired rockets deeper into Israel. The Middle East remains on high alert for further escalation, awaiting Israel's response to an Iranian missile barrage on October 1st. According to the Lebanese government, Israel's expanded operation has displaced more than 1.2 million people, saying that more than 2,100 people have been killed and 10,000 wounded in over a year of fighting. The toll does not distinguish between civilians and combatants, but includes scores of women and children.
Italy beat Britain to win the first Women's America's Cup in a tightly fought final of Barcelona, while New Zealand jumped to a 2-0 win over Britain in the Men's America's Cup.
Italy beat Britain to win the first Women's America's Cup in a tightly fought finale to the event, which competitors and organizers hope will bridge the experience gap at the male-dominated top of the sport. There were huge celebrations among the Italian team of 4 after they crossed the line in their AC40 Foilem monohull with an 8-second win over the British in the 18-minute race.
Speechless. It's such an... it's just an immense joy, really. We've worked so hard and, I don't know, yeah, with the boys helping us all the time. Yeah, we're so happy to match their win and and be champions. I guess they cannot believe it.
The Italian and British flags flew proudly from cranes high above their respective team bases as the inaugural Women's America's Cup final between the top two teams of 12 unfolded. While women have competed in various America's Cup events, the contest has been dominated by men with physical demands and a lack of women with the necessary experience among reasons previously cited for the historic imbalance. But a new generation of craft, almost like Formula One racing cars on water, mean 4 of the 8 sailors in the latest edition of the America's Cup perform roles which do not depend on strength, offering new opportunities for women. That is although the women selected to race the identical AC-40s, which are sailed by 2 co-helms and 2 sail trimmers paired on opposite sides of the boat, plan to push through. On the men's side, Emirates Team New Zealand beat Ineos Britannia of Great Britain in the opening 2 races of their match in an at times scintillating sea battle between the huge foiling AC-75 boats. The New Zealand team's win in light Mediterranean winds and lumpy seas off the coast of Barcelona brought the scoreline to 2-0 in the first to 7 contest.
Kenya's once quiet art scene is experiencing a renaissance with young talent and a growing middle class driving demand for local artwork and creative experiences.
In Nairobi, art enthusiasts are flocking to galleries, purchasing local pieces and participating in weekend paint and sip events, marking a significant shift from just a few years ago.
One thing I really appreciate is that there's different opportunities to engage with art. So if you go from different art shows to actual small spaces like this where you yourself can be engaging in the art space, something that I really do enjoy.
The surge in interest is attributed to a growing middle class with an appreciation for the arts as well as an influx of expatriates. Rosette Aweko, a pointillism artist whose work is displayed at the National Museums of Kenya, has noticed a shift in support.
I love how young people actually support us, the artists. They'll reach out to you, they'll buy your artwork. I feel like right now the art scene is mainly supported by Kenyans. Kenyans love art, they love what it means to them. They'll come to your show and they'll support you. They'll buy work from you, they'll recommend you to your friends, to their friends. So I feel like right now the Kenyan art industry is doing so well, and I love that it's being supported by Kenyans and not by foreigners.
The trend extends beyond traditional gallery spaces. As Kenya's art scene continues to evolve, it promises a brighter future for local artists and the community that supports them, positioning Nairobi as an emerging global artistic hub.
That's all the news we have for today. Thank you all for watching.
For over 30 years,